We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Big show in store for you tonight. I might go off a little bit because not off in the sense of like calling people out, but there are some things in these keys to victory that LSU has to do. They have to do. Like, there is no – y'all remember the movie Rocky III when Apollo Creed says, there is no tomorrow? There isn't. There are 5/6 things LSU has to do to be victorious in Oxford this weekend. We are live. It's going to be an electric show. Around this time every year, Best Bets comes back. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. I'm laying a lot of points. Jason's Deli, as much as I use this cup on the show, Jason's Deli needs to be a sponsor. Just throwing that out there. As much money as I've given and free advertisement that I've given Jason's Deli over the years, they need to be a sponsor. But nevertheless, Best Bets, we have 4 of them, laying a lot of points. I don't care because I think that we're going to be pretty victorious this week. Georgia minus 14 against Auburn. Blake, Georgia didn't look good. Have y'all watched Auburn? Guys, have you watched Auburn? Blake, that game's between the hedges. I don't give a two Rudy Poos where that game's played. But, yeah, things get goofy in the hedges. We'll talk about that one as well. BK gives his final update before the game. We'll talk about some of the key points that he just mentioned in his press conference. A lot. Some on Mason Smith, kind of calling out Matt House a little bit, which I do not mind whatsoever. I don't mind that whatsoever. Third downs, Aaron Anderson likely could be out with a hamstring. They'll see. It'll be a game time decision, and we'll talk a little Omar Speights. But we got a massive show in store for you here tonight. And as we do every Tuesday and Thursday, hashtag Ask Blake, thoughts, questions, concerns. Fire them inside of the Rudy Crew chat. Michael Morse, man, I tell you what, man, the 318. The 318-31 great. They're live in here. Shreveport, Louisiana, says Michael, with his cowboy hat on. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Tommy says, I can't wait to hear Blake's keys to the V. I'm going to be animated. Ringgold is in the building. 307 Casper, Wyoming in the house, says Jeff Dunlap. Good to have you with us here, Jeff. Amy says she's in Tarpon Springs of Florida. 337 says Mac Daddy. What's up, Mac Daddy? There he is. There's Blaze. Blaze Ledette says Mount Bellevue, Texas is in the house. Clay Phillips says, hashtag Ask Blake, why is it so hard for O-linemen to be good at pass blocking and run blocking? Both my teams struggle at this, the Titans and Vandy, because they stink. I'm just messing. If you have a guy that's really bad in the running game, historically in the pass game, he's not going to be good. If you're struggling to run the football, historically in pass pro, you're not going to be good. So if you can't be physical at the point of attack, you're not going to be physical when you have a 265-pound dude on the edge running right at you that has some steam and can bend what's something that bends? Got hamstrings like a rubber band. What's something that bends? Why can't I think of anything that bends? I'm not, it's Thursday. Why can't I think of something that bends? I don't know. But yeah, that's historically why. David says, play up tempo, pressure on defense, gap discipline, let Jackson pound the ball. I don't think Jackson's going to pound the ball, but I do think they need to give it to Logan Diggs a little bit more in the first half. Christian Nielsen says Prairieville, Louisiana. Brian Robinson says tuning in from Elabelle, Georgia, 318. By the way, of the 318, Santa Ma is in the house. And people out in Santa Ma know how to party, man. I'm telling you. I shouldn't put this before Father A-Bears, but they know how to party. I was in Bible studies when all the people in Santa Ma were partying, Father. I just got to tell you, he says he's live from the Berry. I was in Bible study. But then people in Santa Ma know how to party. Well, I'm going to leave that alone. Went to a party one time, thought I was going to a Bible study. In Santa Ma one time, didn't make that one out. Likely didn't make it out of there. Mario Jones says, Blake, old piss won't stop our offense. Yeah. Ben's like a semi. I like that one, says Derek. Travis said we didn't get Terry Bussey. We sure didn't. I see the melt. I see it on the board. I see it. I know. People are pissed. I get it. I don't blame you. I'm not going to come out here and defend anything. I don't blame you. I mean, it's tough to go into Texas and get somebody. Just like it's hard sometimes to come in Louisiana and get somebody. But got to do some different things. You're going to have to go back and hit the portal again. It's just the bottom line, man. Like, you got a top 10 class, you're going to have to hit the portal pretty hard again. And need to go find some corners, need to go find some interior D linemen. Let's call it what it is. St. Cyr says he's in Pensacola by the way of New Roads, the 225. David Bogan says Zachary. Guys, you getting these? You getting these? Kendrick says, Blake, do you see the secondary getting it together from Ole Miss? No, I don't. But let me say this, Kendrick D7 on YouTube. Let me just tell you this. Can they? Yes. But I'm going to take my first key to victory tonight is what the film's showing. I mentioned it on Monday pretty heavily. Actually, really heavily. So we'll talk about that. So stay around with us, Kendrick. It's going to be my number one key to victory after the break. Floyd Davis says, do you like the Santa Ma two-step? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is, but sure. Never heard of the Santa Ma two-step. Sounds like, you go way down yonder in the Chattahoochee with a thing of, look, let me just tell you something. I knew a guy from Santa Ma one time. Here's a quick story for you. I did not do it. Again, I was in Bible studies. I knew a guy from Santa Ma, Louisiana one time. Went out to his place, got a nice, beautiful, beautiful house. It's like, I think it was right around the time me and my wife had started dating. I don't remember if she came with me or not. I think she might have. But maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I can't remember. Well, we go out to Santa Ma, buddy of mine's house, insurance agent, killing it, right? So we go out there and, we're watching a game. I think it was during LSU baseball season. We're sitting on his back patio. He's got the TV mount, all the whole 9 yards, outdoor kitchen, beautiful. Well, he invited some of his buddies, lifelong friends from Santa Ma. And next thing I know, we're just sitting there drinking a couple beers or whatever. And, but by the way, I was reading my Bible. They were drinking beers, not me. And next thing I know, about an hour into the game, this guy's got two, 40s duct taped to his hands, and people won't take it off to him until he's finished. They called him Edward 40 Hands. And people in Santa Ma, man. And people in Santa Ma. They duct taped 240s. Smith's Malt Liquor. Anyway, yeah, y'all can give y'all's where are you listening to us from tonight, and what is your score prediction? You can put them in here. Real Ed O says LSU loses in a shootout 42-35. What's up? We'll see. I'll give you my keys to victory here tonight. Smith's Malt Liquor, man. Edward 40 Hands. I ain't never seen nothing like that before. Because I'm a Christian man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen nothing like that. All right, let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor by announcement. If you are a business owner or know a business owner, if you do own a business, know somebody that owns a business, your parents, your uncle, your aunt, your mama, your daddy, I don't care who it is. If you own a business, they own a business, tell them to reach out to us. We have some spots open for sponsorships. And so if they want to advertise with us, we'd be more than happy to talk to them and bring them on to the team. There's been a lot of success stories for our sponsors. If you see, we have consistently a lot of the same ones over and over and over again. It's because they are loyal to us and we are loyal to them. And hopefully they make a crap load of money. And they're good people. There's a very strong vetting out process. Speaking of one of them, here's one of them right here. Edward 40 says Ryan Williams from the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. He said, Edward 40 Hands classic. It's true. They're calling that man Edward 40 Hands the whole night. I don't know if he finished. We left because we had to wake up and go to another Bible study in the morning. So yeah. All right, let's get rolling. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all of those social media groups. Share to all of those social media pages. If you listen to us or watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and notification bell wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. And if you're watching us on Fubo TV, welcome. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag. Good friends over at GM Varno & Sons, gmvarnosons.com. Don't go anywhere. Keys to victory. LSU's got to do number one, or it's going to be a long night. That's what she said. We're back next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events, with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992, 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Chris says, man, Blake, you're going to have to give out some prizes for all that sharing. Well, listen, so we've been asked this a lot, or I've been asked this a lot over the years. When are you going to completely take this full time? And, there have been times where I've had a lot more free time and we've posted a lot of content. Well, guys, the more you share, the more I grow. The more I grow, the more money I make. The more money I make, the quicker I get there. And so, I'm pretty much doing this well over full time, overtime. Last night I was on the phone to 11:36 to be exact about Terry Bussey. Then got a call at 4. Let me look it up. 4:32 a.m. Keys to victory. There's one glaring one. BK's talked about this. He talked about this a little bit on Monday. And I'm going to mention it again. I talked about it on Monday. Shit, I talked about it last week. It bears repeating again here tonight. There's one silver lining about this defense. They have not looked great. Last week against KJ Jefferson in Arkansas, KJ looked like an All-American, made to look like an All-American. Dude went off. And some of those things you can prevent with better play. Yes, meaning guys just did not make the plays when you're in the backfield and you can't bring KJ down, a blown coverage because you're trying to play somebody else's responsibility. Yeah. Like there are some things that you have to clean up from the fiscal side of things. Here is the number one thing that is killing the defense. You're not playing fundamentally sound. Does it sound familiar? Because in 2021, 2020, there were some schematical things that were going on, and you can't mistake that. But there was also a lot of missed assignments. There's a lot of missed assignments on this defense. A lot of missed assignments. At some point, you got to be locked in and focused. You got to stay disciplined. If Jackson Dart wants to run for 15 yards and you're still covering your man because it's your responsibility, you got to do it. Number one thing, defensively, it's time to start playing the way that you can play. Now, BK just mentioned this in reference to Mason Smith as an example, which is 1,000% a shot at Matt House about Mason Smith playing the nose. He's doing a lot of dirty work. That's not a lie. That's true. And that they have to be more creative with him. It's not just Mason Smith. It's everybody. It's everybody. You know, I heard a lot of you over the last week or so talking about, well, you know, Blake, the defense really didn't do bad in the first half. Guys, they let up over 200 yards of total offense. What are you talking about? Now, they came big up in the red zone, but don't act as if that they did not have a lot of bad plays in the first half that gave Arkansas a lot of yards, because they did. The only 3 and out of the night that they have was the first drive, and they allowed 8 yards, and they got a punt, and you got the ball, and you couldn't go score. That's the truth. I think that there has to be someone that stands up there and says to themselves, to Matt House included, if guys are not fundamentally sound, that's on you. Because they have to play that way. You know, against Alabama last year, you were completely and utterly fundamentally sound. There were times against Florida State in the first half that you did some really good things and were fundamentally sound. When you start getting out of your rush lanes, when you stop getting out of your gaps and not reading your keys, you're going to get beat. Now, this week, if you do things that aren't of your assignment, Lane Kiffin will pick you apart. I don't care how they looked against Alabama last week. You're not Alabama defensively. You're not. We talk a whole bunch of shizite, myself included, about how down Alabama is. Well, you know what? One thing that's not down at Alabama? Defense. They're not. They broke down in the second half, mainly the fourth quarter against Texas, because it was 3 and out from their offense, and they couldn't catch their breath, and they were just standing there taking haymakers from Texas. A lot like what happened to you against Florida State. But they have dudes and play fundamentally sound all over the place. It's why they are top 5 defense right now in the country, or top 10 defense right now in the country in total defense. It is not the coach's responsibility for you to know your assignments. If you don't play them, Lane will pick you apart. Don't give him that opportunity to do that. Secondary, somebody's got to step up. We're going to say it every week. We're going to say it every single week until it happens. Because these next 2 weeks, these 2 offenses that you face, guys, you can make all the jokes you want about Missouri. Right now, we have not shown that we have anybody on our team that can stop Luther Burden. Nobody. If Trey Harris is back for Ole Miss, the kid from Louisiana, you better not let him get loose. But if you play fundamentally sound, and people don't like hearing that coach speak, you don't like coming in here and listening to that damn coach speak. I know that you don't. You're like, well, Blake, that, I don't like when you say stuff like that. But, guys, it's true. They did it under Orgeron. A lot of the same recruits, they're doing it now. At some time, you got to wake up and say, I am not playing my responsibility. You don't like to hear that? That's the truth. You look and say, oh, well, this guy didn't make the play. Yeah, because he should have been in the A gap and not the B gap. You got two dudes going into the same gap. There's no reason why Mekhi Wingo and Mason Smith should be trying to penetrate the same hole. Pause. None. Wake up. There's been too much football play from these guys to have been happen. The only excuses that you should have is from a guy like Whit Weeks, and I would even venture to say a guy like Harold Perkins, because Harold is a unique unicorn that's flying around the field that doesn't really have a position. Harold Perkins plays football. Well, by damn it, let him play it. Number two, this front seven has got to go off. Like, there are no exceptions. There are no rules. If you cannot find a way to get after Jackson Dart and stop this running game that Ole Miss has, then you have massive question marks. Massive question marks up front. Because we've seen Tulane do it. At times we've seen Georgia Tech do it. And we saw Alabama do it the last week. Guys, they have not been successful at running the football. The only real true success that they've had running the football is with the kid Bentley, who, if you get to the edge, he is going to destroy you. Number 24, Bentley. If Bentley gets out in space, you're in trouble. He's got more shakes than a protein shake. More shakes than a protein shake. You have to get penetration. I want to see more of Jordan Jefferson. He was my number 5, but I'm going to mix these two together. Since I already gave you one, then we had 6. I want to see more of Jordan Jefferson. If you want to get Mason Smith one-on-one opportunities, well, then put Jordan Jefferson at the nose. Because you know who hasn't had problem taking on double teams? Jordan Jefferson. If it sounds like I'm spicy, if it sounds like I'm upset, it's because I know that you have the talent. You're not playing fundamentally sound. This front seven should be able to. It's the same take that we had a week ago today. Guys, a week ago today, I said the same thing about Arkansas. A beat-up offensive line. If you can't get after KJ in this running game, you might get beat. And by God, you won by 3. You know, we're almost 800 episodes into this hoe, and you would think that we've watched enough football to know. Guys, I've played it all my life. I've been around it all my life. If this front seven cannot get after that ass, it's going to be a long night. You're going to give up points to them. You're going to give up yards. They're at home. It's at night. Eli Manning and his floppy-ass hair is going to be in attendance, even though I like Eli. I actually like Eli a lot. Eli's one of my favorite dudes, really, if you just get to know him. I mean, Eli's a funny dude. I don't give a shit who's in the building. I don't care if the president, I don't care if Condoleezza Rice, I don't care who's in the building. The shades of Billy Cannon could walk through that damn door. It would not matter. If the front seven can't get after somebody's ass, you're going to lose. Time to step it up. Time to step it up. You know, it's like I want to see Harold Perkins and Mason Smith pushing one each other. Left side. I can't have more passion than you do. If you're around kids, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to pause this. But I'm sure as an adult, you can read my lips. It's time to wake it. Wait. That's 10 seconds. Wake it the fuck up. Their O-line is Rudy Poo. It is what it is. I've watched the all 22 copy. Look, I wish I could turn the camera. In the studio right here, right now, we have Ole Miss and Georgia Tech playing right here. Let's see what happens. Oh, look, Jackson Dart hitting the fucking backfield. Wake it up. You were too good. You were too talented. And here's the truth. Here's the God's honest truth. This coaching staff that you're a little aggravated with right now, I get why you're aggravated. Believe me, I get why you're aggravated. Matt House, Brian Kelly, Kerry Cooks, Robert Steeples, who else? Diaco, Jancic, they have seen too much football not to get this corrected this week versus a very struggling O-line. Matt House, Jancic, Brian Kelly, etc. has forgotten more about football than we ever will know. All of us collectively. All 307 of us. This O-line's poo. They're poo. If I can watch Tulane get after that ass, you're not Tulane. You're not Tulane, man. You have a potential second-round pick and Mekhi Wingo up there. Two either were or borderline five-star recruits in Savion Jones and Mason Smith. If Mason Smith is not able to do what he does and you're not able to be creative enough to get him one-on-one opportunities, then it's your fault. Now, Brian Kelly, as I alluded to earlier, talked about we have to be more creative. That is a shot at Matt House. Put Jordan Brian Kelly mentioned it on Monday. Basically, in translation, this is what he's saying. I have no idea why Matt House put him at nose. Jordan Jefferson was recruited to play that position. Why? Because at West Virginia, he was kicking ass and taking names like his name was Chuck Norris. What was the Chuck Norris commercial that he was popular for? He hit the Bowflex in the offseason. The Bowflex. Y'all remember the Bowflex commercials with Chuck Norris? 1-800-BOWFLEX-1. I will never forget the number for Bowflex. 1-800-BOWFLEX-1. No, Blake, not the Bowflex. I still think that you got talent, man. I really do. I think that you can correct this to some extent. But like I mentioned, if you play this game to get your own stats and do X, Y, and Z, you're not going to be any good. You're not. That's how they played in 2020. Some of you were on this team. Wake it up. Number 3. Offensively. So Mondays when we sit down as a team and I come up with these, let me tell you what happened Monday. Monday, I was sitting here and really struggling with, do I really say a lot about the offense? What do I mean by that? Do I think that you need to get started off faster? Do you can't linger around like you did Ole Miss last year? You can't linger around like you did last week against Arkansas. You can't do that. You got to get after it. Offensively, there's not a lot I can say, but that you need to start off faster. And what do I mean by start off faster? When people hear me say something like that, and speaking of 800 episodes or being 800 episodes in, that doesn't mean going up tempo. That doesn't mean throwing the ball all over the place. That means, hey, man, first drive, you get the ball, go score 7. Like, that's what that means. 2 drives, you're getting at minimum 10 points. That's what that means. The only thing that I can come up with in reference to starting faster, you got to get number 3 involved quicker. You have to get Logan Diggs the ball quicker. Alabama's offensive line struggled in the first half, but picked it up in the second half when that defense for Ole Miss started to get winded. Your offense is better than theirs. Bottom line. Bottom line. You want to know why you haven't seen or you didn't see Lance Hurd last week in reference to playing significant snaps at right tackle? It's because Miles Frazier said, you know what, man? This kid might be a 5-star, but he ain't taking my spot. You better go ask Dellinger what's up with him because he ain't taking my spot. I promise you that. And it's lit a spark under his ass because, quite honestly, he was that guy a year ago. Start off faster. Give this running game a chance to breathe a little bit. I know you want to throw it all over the place with Jayden Daniels. So do I. And you can't get away from it. You got to be, on first down. Or really, LSU has been so good. This is one thing that I love, adore about Mike Denbrock is Denbrock will throw the ball on first down and then run it on second down, even on third down. There have been multiple times since Mike Denbrock's been our offensive coordinator, he's run the ball on 3rd and 6 in light boxes and said, you can't put 5 guys in the box against my offensive line. I will kick your ass. Denbrock has been a dude, man. You average 35, let's just call it 35 because you can't score half points in football. He scored 35 points a game last year. You're at 43 points this year. He has been a breath of fresh air, even though at times last year the offense struggled. You're just seeing an offense that really just hasn't struggled a lot. I mean, when they have, they've picked it back up and got it rolling besides one quarter in Florida State. I'll get you all super chats in just a minute. I'll get to y'all's super chats in just a minute. Number 4. So with all of that being said, or number 5, excuse me, with all of that being said, you got to be aggressive defensively. Jackson Dart is, what's the word I'm looking for here? He's like a deer in the headlights. He's Bambi in the headlights when you send pressure at him. Look at what Bama did last week. Look at what you did a year ago when you send the house after him, man. Look what happens. You gotta be aggressive. This Harold Perkins coming off the corner shit in a slot blitz, I don't like it. I really don't. I know you're trying to utilize him. I know you're trying to. You got personnel. You got depth. I need to see more Jordan Jefferson. I need to see Mason Smith lined up at the 3 tech. You won't be able to see this, but I think you'll know what I'm talking about. This is when, my wife throws away my whiteboard. I wish that I still had it so I could talk about this. I'm about to show y'all something. I don't know if you could see this, but this is what we call amoeba, or what we used to call amoeba. When the backers are lined up in both A-gaps. You ran it a lot last year. And then you have a 3-tech, and a 5 and a 5 as the ends, meaning you have 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles that are 3-tech. What a 3-tech is there a shade on the outside shoulder of the guard. So left for the, left side for the left guard, right for the right side in the 5 techniques. You got both backers in that A-gap. Be creative. Put Harold Perkins in any one of these goddamn spaces. But at times, you're going to have to back one out, send a safety blitz. Like the best game, arguably the best called game that Matt House ever had was against Mississippi State. And guys, here, Major Burns had a sack. Major Burns is not built to be covering a third of the field and be a free safety. He's not. Send him on he is more not built like, he doesn't look like, but he plays more like a Jamal Adams. He's not a Grant Delpit. Let me say that again. He's more of a Jamal Adams who wants to be up in the, close to the line, can play the front 10 yards. You got to put him there, man. You got to put him there. Because even when he got shook like a protein shake a couple weeks ago, he turned the offender back in, and you were able to make the tackle and stop grambling, and then they would have to try to go for it, and they'd miss. What was it? Then they made the field goal or whatever it was. Be aggressive. Run some amoeba. Run some creative stuff. Run it a whole week. I don't know what you ran this week, but you're too simple. You're way too simple. I told y'all on Monday, there's a coordinator in the SEC that a lot of people know that I have a good connection to, and they have no idea what they're doing with Harold Perkins. They have none. I had one coach who's not a coordinator in the SEC this week tell me that they thought that Brian Kelly should be more hands-on with the defense because they know that when BK starts getting involved in making adjustments and calling some plays, doing this, hey, I'm seeing this, call this, that he's a lead at it. Guys, I've talked to multiple people, and look, BK is not one of those coaches. Like, there are times where you have to ask BK to be more involved. Right? The good CEOs don't, Saban, etc. They don't. But BK is too good of an X's and O's guy. He knows what to do and what to call. How much involved has he gotten there? You had a problem with special teams a year ago. You cleaned that shit up. Mainly because he helped you work on it. You go and get Bob Diaco to help you with it. And guys, special teams outside of a muff punt has not been bad. It's actually been somewhat fairly well. Now, against Mississippi State, you let Tulu Griffin get some yards on you, but I think it's because he's doing that on everybody. This isn't like he's done that literally on everybody. Those are the 5/6 keys. If you do some of those things, you're going to be fine. And you know what? One thing I didn't mention, and you're probably saying, Blake, how can you not mention this? Guys, I don't know what you want me to say about the secondary. What do you want me to say? Play better? Rotate more? They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So the only way that you give them some assistance is popping Jackson Dart right in his shit. Knock his ass, not literally. Don't try to hurt the kid. Knock his ass out. You get the expression that I'm trying to use. Hey, yo, Rocky. All right. Yes. Release the hounds. Like the movie Clash of the Titans. Release the Kraken. Hell. I ain't going there. Never mind. I ain't going there. All right. Couple super chats. Yes, these will be the first comments read if you send them. Cody McGee with a $4.99 super chat. You guys are helping us so much with these super chats, man. Thank you, Cody. You've been Cody does them a lot. Every time y'all send a super chat in, the LSU fan is born. He says, Ole Miss's O-line is trash. If LSU cannot sack Dart at least 3 times or more, our defense needs work going to be a long game in Oxford. I agree. You got to get to him 3 times. I agree. Just a dude on YouTube with a $199 super chat says, I need your show to run an hour and a half, Blake. Make it happen. Well, I'll have to ask permission. Jason Hughes says, get out of Joe Brady's playbook. Jason, can you expound on that? Because offensively, they've been kicking everybody's ass. when it comes to attacking the middle of the field, I kind of hope you do go to his playbook a little bit against Ole Miss because their safeties can't be found with a search warrant. Who was that, guys? Who was that bounty hunter that was on TV all the time? And thank you, Jordan, for the stars on Facebook. Who was the bounty hunter who had long blonde hair? Call him like Bullfrog or something like that. Dog, that was his name. Yeah. Dog the bounty hunter. Release the Kraken on them hoes. These hoes ain't loyal. They really aren't. Y'all see that thing? I don't know the girl's name, but Shannon Sharp had some girl on this podcast, and she said she had 35 bodies. Like, calm down, Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, like, God, dog. I will never tell anybody as long as I live how many bodies I got. I know what she means. I know what she means. It's a sexual reference. So about good friend Tyler Alexander over at eXp Realty, our good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm. Don't go anywhere. Best bets, BK's update. We give that next to close it out.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man. He's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Tyler, guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. So, we have some best bets really quickly. Really quickly. If you want to make money, here you go. UGA, Georgia, and Michigan has not covered a game this year so far. Let me say that again, because it's kind of hard to believe. Michigan and Georgia have not covered. Both are 0-3-1. They've looked bad. They've looked horrible. They've looked like booty cheeks when it comes to covering the spread. Both of them 0-6-2. However, Georgia is a 14-point favorite over Auburn. Give me that even if you had plus some. Auburn cannot throw a pass to save their life. They can't. I know Georgia is beat to shit. I know that they have a running back, or they're one of their running backs that they're having to have in the rotation is a white dude that's a walk-on. They got a wide receiver / H-back, number 86 that they got to put back there. It ain't going to matter. It ain't going to matter, son. I promise you that. Give me the Bulldogs minus 14 in my lock of the week. It's Auburn is booty cheeks. But you know what makes me feel a little about this game? Goofy things happen in the Deep South's oldest rivalry in between the hedges. Remember the Nick Marshall tip catch? And Auburn would wind up playing for the national championship that year. Things get goofy. Michigan plays Nebraska this week. It's a 17-point spread. Nebraska can't score either. They can't. They're just as booty cheeks offensively as Auburn. I'm laying a lot of points. I'm laying 31-ish points there. Give me Michigan minus 17. Mizzou minus 12.5 over Vandy. Swan, the Vandy quarterback, is going to be a game-time decision. I don't think it matters. They don't have anybody in the entire city of Nashville that can cover Luther Burden. Missouri's going to be 5-0 when LSU comes calling and into town. And another one I'm laying a lot of points in, Washington minus 20 over Arizona. Laying a lot of points this week. Those are our best bets. I'm staying away from Texas A&M, Arkansas. So, yeah. I see this thing in the chat about Zy Alexander. Guys, Zy Alexander's the only guy. I mean, you can give him. I will allow you to give him the touchdown that he gave up against Auburn in zone coverage when he was running after KJ. Who's been your better DB? The DB that y'all wanted in Denver, as much as I think that he can be a stud, don't act as if Denver hasn't given up touchdowns, brother. Y'all on this man's – y'all on one guy. That's what this fan base does. This fan base gets all over one guy when collective unit on defense, you've been horrible. That back end has been really bad, man. Oh, this guy's been bad. Okay. You hadn't seen Zy Alexander getting mulched in the back of the end zone. People said he got punked when his back was turning. Jaheim Bell ran into him. So what? I don't give a shit. He scored a touchdown anyway. What are you talking about? Perkins got pancaked on the play. So BK gave some updates. So y'all want to go after one. That's what this fan base does, man. Some people. BK's gave an update, his final update before Saturday. I already mentioned this, so let me expound on this a little bit. He said that Mason Smith has been taking on double teams. He's been at the nose. He's not wrong, and they got to be more creative. That's a shot at Matt House. It's a shot at Matt House, and it's warranted. It's a shot at John Jantic. Whether he intended it to be or not, it is a shot. They got to get him more one-on-one opportunities. I agree with that. Get him in the 3-tech. Have 2 3-techs. Like, do some stunts, do some twists, do what you got to do to let him get free. If he gets a sack, if Mason Smith gets a sack, he's off to the races. He might turn it on. So that's number one. Some injury updates. Omar Spate's in and will be in the rotation. And, you know, I know that that's going to get a lot of people and piss a lot of people off that he's back in the rotation. Guys, he had a bad hip flexor injury. He shouldn't have played against Florida State. He toughed it out. He manned up and played. So he'll be in the rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if Whitweek started and Omar started coming in an early pass and early rundowns. And I do think that Ole Miss is going to attack him. So they're going to have to get creative. And I don't want to say covering him up, but they're going to have to get creative here. I want to see a healthy Omar Speights and what he can do. I'm not out on him yet. A lot of people who don't understand, like, counter read, you know, they kept seeing him get blocked. He keeps getting blocked. Well, that's his job, man. Like, he's supposed to take on the guard. Like, y'all, you know that, right? When the guard's pulling, he is supposed to take on the guard so the other Packer can come in and fill in and hit the running back and take him down. Y'all know that, correct? Because some people don't. Like, that is his number one goal, is to turn it back inside. He did it every single play, in which basically because he over and over again, they kept running into his hip. They kept hitting him from the side, and he's having to turn everything back in. It's what hurt the hip flexor in the first goddamn plays. So he's out. Aaron Anderson is likely a game-time decision. Possibly. Brian Kelly said he didn't really have a massive update in that one. So we'll see with Aaron Anderson. They're not utilizing him enough for it to be a massive impact. But I hate that he's got a hamstring thing, man. Those things can linger. You don't like seeing things like that. Man, I had so much high hopes on him, and they have not used him in the right way. Brian, in my opinion. I mean, but again, those are one of those nitpicky things. Like, what do you want me to say? Right? Like, what do you want me to say? So, I mean, if you're, here's the thing. At least on this show, now you can go to other shows because people send me clips all the time of stupid shit. Other people can bitch and moan. That's what I hear when people are bitching and moaning about the offense. Like critique, yes. Hey, you need to run the ball a little bit more. You need to get off to a faster start. Guys, they're scoring. They're a top 10 offense. What are you talking about? Newsflash. If you would have scored more points in the first half, it was not going to stop Arkansas. I promise you. Well, it could have changed some momentum. You couldn't stop a nosebleed last week with tampons. You put 2 bags in your nose, you ain't stopping shit. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Erica's correct. It is called hold containment in the chat. So, BTJ, Brian Kelly said that he is, it's more of like, look, man, he started taking care of some things off the field, getting more mature off the field, class, weight room. And, man, look, like I tried to tell you, man, people don't like Brian Kelly saying stuff like this, but I know that you do know this as a human being. When things are going right in your life, things are going right. When you're taking care of stuff, when you're working hard, you're making money, or your home life is going really well, a lot of things around you start happening well. Like things are good. And you can't let things depress you enough. I mean, man, I don't know. But matured in all levels is what he said. He was also asked about third down defense. We talked about this. We literally talked about this as the number one key to victory. He said, this is what Brian Kelly was trying to get at. He goes, look, man, and he didn't say this verbatim. This is what he's trying to say. Look, man, we have the personnel. And we feel good about our personnel, but man, we turn on the film and they're out of position too much. And he's right. He's right. Mainly in what I call the back seven, linebackers and secondary. Secondary's not lined up properly. Like you're running cover 3 and you look like you're playing man to man. Well, you can do that and get away with it. But you got one guy playing cover 2 last week and another guy playing cover 3. Like, I mean, that's the shit that drives me nuts. That's the kind of shit that drives me nuts. And it wasn't Zy Alexander neither. Now he wound up making a play, but doesn't mean that you weren't lined up correctly and you weren't hitting the right gaps. So he said that third down defense is more fundamental. I do agree with that, but I also don't. I don't agree with Brian Kelly there. I think Matt House is getting out coached. If it happens year one because you got a lot of new players and what you did, and you have them here too. Not being able to execute on third down is a lot of times, yes, it's fundamental. A lot of times it's play calling too. He's getting out coached, man. Like, I don't know. It happened last year. All 4 games, listen to this. All 4 games you lost in last year and the 1 game you lost in this year, guess what you lost in? Third downs. Third downs. You want your offense to have a better first half? Get them a couple stops. Get them a stop. We're going to stop in the first drive of the game. Stop that. Stop that. Doesn't mean that you can't give up a couple first downs. But when it comes down, they get to the middle of the field, make them punt that hoe. Like, I mean, it's third down conversions, man, we've been so bad. We were bad last week. Last week was the first time that Yeah, it was the first time. The first time in Brian Kelly's tenure that a team had been over 55% on third down conversions and we won the game. Did y'all know that? Let me say that again. Last week was the first time an opposing team went 55% or plus on third downs and we won the game. The only reason you did that was because of Jaden and this offense. Only reason. Only reason. Brian Kelly is 0 for 5 in his LSU career when he's lost third down. And you're not going to let it win a lot of games when you don't win the third down conversion rate. I tell you this ad nauseum. I'll continue to say it. If you do not win third downs, so for example, let me give an example of a game. Last week, obviously, I was watching. Now, I had the game on, meaning Ohio State and Notre Dame. But I was not focused on that game. I kind of glanced over and, if there was like a TV timeout or whatever the hell was going on. And I would glance over to Notre Dame, Ohio State. Ohio State beat the ever-living dog shit out of Notre Dame on third down. They beat them down. It's the only reason they won. It was legitimately they couldn't move the ball on first and second down. They hit big plays on third down and would keep drives alive. Every single drive. Now, most of the times on third downs, the ones they didn't convert, they'd obviously have to punt. The game was not a high-scoring game. They won 17-14. Wouldn't matter. Didn't matter. Brian Kelly is 0 for 5 when he loses the third down. He loses third down. Last thing Brian Kelly said, he talked about the running game for Ole Miss. He thought that Quinshon Judkins was hurt. He is hurt. And that they're running the quarterback a little bit more. So, yeah. All right, we got a super chat here from Cody, $4.99. He said, Terry Busey committed to A&M over LSU five-star recruit, ? He did, and he is. I think Matt House needs to get creative on defense, like maybe get Dave Aranda's playbook. Yeah, well, they need to get a little bit – he needs to get more creative. I agree. Thank you for the super chat. He does. He's going to have to. He's going to have to. Like, there's not a – he doesn't have a choice. Like, I mean, I hate coming out here talking negatively about coaches, but, guys, at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. I mean, I'm not going to come out here and sugarcoat shizite for you. And listen. Listen. When I do stuff like this, when I call out, like, I guess it's a call out. When I say stuff like this, like House has to be more creative. This is how, let me just tell you how it works, because I already got a text message about it from somebody saying I'm going off. This is exactly what happens. I get a text message and get in trouble. Okay. Meanwhile, you got the head coach at the podium saying it too, that they got to be more creative. How am I going to get in trouble when the head coach said it too? Jamar says House wasn't a good DC at Kentucky. Coach Kelly had plenty of great DCs that they could have had chosen. Well, if he doesn't pick it up, he's going to be in trouble. We'll see you guys Saturday. Y'all have a good one. Peace!